A very good evening and a warm welcome to Uctv News. My name is Nora Sende to bring you the bulletin. It is January the 20th, 2025. Thank you for staying with us on Uctv. Tonight we're starting off with the Electoral Commission that has set a target to register 22 million Ugandans in the National Voters Register by the conclusion of the voter registration update that's on February 10th, 2025. Speaking at the launch of the exercise in Kamocha Market 1 polling station in Kampala, the Commissioner Chairperson Justice Simon Byabakama revealed that the voter count is expected to grow by 4 million with an increase in polling stations to accommodate the expansion. Byabakama urged the eligible Ugandans to participate in the exercise, emphasizing that there will be no extension of deadline and appealing for calm and cooperation during the process.
As the whole country knows, today, the 20th of January, the Electoral Commission has launched a very important exercise in the run-up to the 2025-26 general elections, and that is the update of the National Voters Register. This is to give an opportunity to those first-time voters to turn up at the various registration centers across the country and apply to register as voters. You must be a Ugandan citizen of 18 years and above. Secondly, we are also giving opportunity to those who want to transfer their voting location from the previous polling station where they voted from in 2021 to a new location where they are staying currently or where they come from. So that's why we are here at Kamocha to officially launch this exercise, and it is taking place across the entire country as we speak now. Well, the projection last year we had about in 2021 we had about 18.4 million. Our projection was that we would add about 4 million voters. So our projection is about 22 million voters. The old voters, or those already in existence, and the new voters. So about 4 million voters. They are going to the various centers which we have informed the people where to go to in the entire country. We have mobile registration units which are going around the sub-counties. Now, of course, in the city, because of the high density because of the high numbers of people, we are deploying 2 kits per registration center. For example, here at Kamocha, we have 2 kits, and other places of Kampala. We make sure that in the urban areas, we deploy enough personnel and enough kits to take care of the high numbers of people.
The Forum for Democratic Change has criticized the National Electoral Commission for failure to implement the digital registration system for updating National Voters Register. This comes as the EC officially commenced the voter registration and update exercise today, which will run until the 10th of February 2025 in preparation for the 2026 general elections. FDC National Youth League Chairperson Francis Adepo expressed concern that the absence of digital registration could disenfranchise many Ugandans, particularly those in rural areas with limited access to registration points. Adepo urged the EC to modernize its process to ensure inclusive participation in the upcoming elections.
All our district chairpersons of the younger people, moving down to the constituency level, to sub-county, to parish, up to village level, this is the time for us to mobilize our fellow younger people and embrace this exercise, and we mobilize the younger people to do the registration accordingly. We also want to request the government that you are much aware that the younger people are the majority, and technology has embraced this country and the world at large. So we appeal to the government of this country and the Electoral Commission to put this exercise to go digital, so that a younger people, wherever he is or wherever she is, can check the registration, can check their update wherever they are. And 2, the government should also look at opening up these social media platforms that the younger people use to interact. We all know that since 2021, Facebook up to now it is closed. People cannot interact using Facebook as it was before. We call upon the government to look at reinstating this social media platform, especially Facebook. We should not continue escaping or dodging to access Facebook using VPN. This can be given another year, and we have technology as a very key factor in this exercise that we are going in for.
Acting President for the People's Front for Freedom, Elias Lukwago, has vowed to persist in delivering food and providing support to Dr. Kizza Besigye, who is currently on remand in Luzira prison. Besigye, along his colleague Obed Lutale, faced charges of plotting to overthrow the government and possession of firearms following his arrest in the neighboring Kenya last year.
As the PFF, we have taken a decision to defy the stringent measures that have been imposed by the prisons authorities to stop us from taking food there. We are continuing to take food to Dr. Kizza Besigye. So we are putting Mr. Byabashaija on notice and his entire team, please comply with the law unless you are going to arrest all of us. We are going to bring Kashera, the millet flour. We are going to bring rice, we are going to bring cooking oil, we are going to bring all items. All the items we consider to be necessities in the life of Dr. Kizza Besigye. We are going to continue bringing them to Luzira, beginning from today.
Freedom for all.
All for freedom.
All for freedom.
Freedom for all. So we are not going to allow you to offer an environment that will ease Museveni's mission of killing Dr. Besigye. Because obviously, if he is restricted to their food there, the mission is to poison him, nothing else. They want to poison him, that is the fact. Many people have been poisoned from prisons, many. We don't need to list the names here, you know many who have died under mysterious circumstances. Message to Byabashaija, as the Commissioner General, please comply with the dictates of the law. We don't think you want to be an accomplice in the execution of Dr. Besigye. That you want to have Besigye's blood on your hands, Mr. Byabashaija. To Frank Abayine, you have treated this matter with a lot of arrogance. Calm down. Respect the command of the Constitution. Understand how delicate this matter is, how delicate it is, rather how delicate it is to have the person of Dr. Besigye's life in your hands, Mr. Byabashaija. You don't know what it means. You are playing with fire. You are just putting your notice.
Uganda Police Force has criticized individuals who willingly bribe officers at the Directorate of Interpol, that's to acquire certificates of good conduct and later resorts to airing their grievances against the Directorate on social media instead of reporting through official police communication channels. Police spokesperson Resoke Chitoma condemned the unethical behavior of officers exploiting applicants, but also held the applicants accountable for perpetrating bribery by bypassing the established procedures for acquiring certificates of good conduct from the Directorate of Interpol.
I wish to state that the Directorate of Interpol has confirmed the receipt of those concerns. Some of them were sent on Twitter. There was one we read which was sent, and the complainant or the person making the allegation suggested that his identity is not revealed. So we took cognizance of that, and that particular person alleged that they pay 50,000 to officers for a stamp in addition to bank fees, because there are particular bank fees also which are paid. Given that complaint, does not specify the victim's identity. Of course, we find it a bit of a challenge to particularly trace this nature of complaints based on that anonymous person's complaint.
Falsifications around, because of social media, are rotating around Kano Dr. Chiza Besigye and his being in prison, how he's being managed. If I picked a few things, one of them is that we have given him an ultimatum either to eat prison food, or if he doesn't, he should starve to death. Then that two, that he has already started a hunger strike. And three, that we have not allowed him to interact with other inmates. And four, that the government is determined to kill him using prisons. I think I find this one very outrageous. As I told you, we have 80,000 inmates. And our work is to keep, not to kill. Yes, we hang, but we hang those who have been declared by court. We don't simply kill. We hang those court has decided and the president has endorsed. So first of all, there was even an insinuation, personal. Somebody said, Kampala Jono, saying, leave us to manage a message like how we handled Segirinya. The insinuation is that if Segirinya came out and died, then that's exactly what we are doing for the retired Kanu. This is fake. This is not my word. And that's why I have brought it here. Don't take it as news because somebody is hunting something. I even have a summary of what they were speculating. I don't want to give clout to the one who is speculating, but if you want to know who, the source is also here, and I have brought it for you.
Now, the fishermen at Gaba Landing site have raised concerns over what they describe as excessive force used by soldiers monitoring fish activities on the Lake Victoria. This follows President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's directive to deploy the military to oversee the fishing practices and ensure adherence to proper methods and standards. During a visit to a landing site, fishermen expressed frustration, stating that while they support efforts to regulate fishing and protect the lake, the harsh treatment by the army undermines their dignity and livelihoods.
Just like other fishermen around the country, fishermen around Gaba at Lake Victoria are crying to the government after what they called excess strength used by the soldiers who are in charge of this lake.
Batucharginga n'embere engeri y'okukwatamu ab'amagye engeri gye batubonyaabonyeza kwano ku mazzi. Tugenda okusinkana obuzibu bungi ngaffe ate abakanika yinnyini zaabwe nga bba abakozi. Tusinkana nga tusanga nga naffe tetujja kufuna kaakulya nga tebabaddeko ku mazzi. Amajane gatutulugunya agasindikibwa ate gavumenti ate nga gavumenti yeffe.
Ekisooka amagye muzeeyi mwana abavubi tebakyakola. Nze ninaye muganda wange muvubi naye byaddala embeera yamunyize bwe ekyamunyigira ddala. Abasajja bangi ku mazzi abavubi babatulugunya buli kadde oba olaba eri n'eri. Mwana gwanga lyaffe muzeeyi tukusaba busabi. N'abavubi bakaaba amagye go kye gakola ku nnyanja tetumanyi na kumanya.
Not only does it affect fishermen, but also the mechanics who repair their engines because they do not work when the boats are seized by the soldiers.
Fene tukanika ng'ate ge tukanika tetugayina. Ntegeeza ziyinjini nga tetubirina kuba tebabireeta babakuba nnyo. Babatulugunya nnyo. Bangi bwe bassaako ku mazzi. Bangi babatta aba gavumenti abo boolaba ab'amagye. Bangi bafiiriddeko okwo ku mazzi. Baba bayiririra ddala paka ne mu katale mwennyini nosanga nga babafubutula bufubutuzi. Ekintu ekitunyigiriza ffe bamakanika, ekinyigiriza ffe ng'abantu tetufuna kaakulya kuba ak'okulya tukajja ku mazzi.
Ffe bwana tubeerako ku nnyanja, obulamu bw'ennyanja si bubi naye Museveni atuyambe buyambi ebyaddala. Ku nnyanja emirimu mingi egibaako kuba nange nvuga bakozi, nvuga abalambuzi, nange ndi wa ku mazzi. basajja batukwata buli kadde amaato bagatwala ebitimba babitwala ebiki abasajja bakambwe nnyo ab'amagye.
They asked the president of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to talk to the soldiers to use minimal strength while operating.
Omuvubi ku Mazzikulu ekyaddala omuntu akosebwa omuvubi gaba magye. Envubi embi naffe tetwandijagadde. Nina amagye oba nga yo police teyina kye supportinga nga yo government teyina kye supportinga ate kufa abavuba tewali tevanga yo mbwe supportinga fa evaayo ate kutulugunya ffe tubuzaako kakulya kuba nabo baba baagala kakulya tesitegeera awo wakati lwaki batutulugunya nnyo Yesu okututulugunya twandikkiriza ne mugamba ne mukolanga mwe ab'amagye ne bakola ebyabwe kuba tukitegeera nti kisoboka amagye galina okubaawo batukuume nga ffe naye bava ku kukuuma bakola kirala nnyo ate ebyennyanja bye bakutte tobirabanako simanyi oba balya birye simanyi oba nabo batundanga bo naye waliwo okutwalako bwonna kalibe lyennyanja kakibe kyato kabe kakasi n'omuntu n'abitwala kabibe bitimba omulanga gwe tukubira gavumenti nga yo kutereezaamu mu mbeera y'amagye eyo bakendeezeemu ku muliro kubanga okwo ku mazzi tekuli kingi wabula kuliko akatono ate n'akatono ke tufuna ate bo nako ne bakakuba ne bakatujjako.
Bagamba nsonga ya bwennyanja abavubi bakwata obwennyanja obuto biki naye nga si yandibadde ensonga mwe kennyini mu abalina ogitereeza aba gavumenti naffe abantu ba wansi tube nga tulina kye tufunako.
M. Frank, UCTV News.
Let's now take a quick break. When we return, there's lots more to come.
UCTV, good news for all.
You are watching UCTV, good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Tovoka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the Rico show and sports, Evaluation by Hinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a Noah car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773 597 166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasese Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
Thank you for staying with us on UCTV News. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has commissioned over 750 student leaders who successfully completed a 14-day intensive patriotism training program at Nkumba University. In his address, President Museveni called on the youth to reject identity-based politics, describing it as sterile and detrimental to Uganda's socioeconomic development or transformation. He emphasized the need for young leaders to focus on unity and development-oriented initiatives that promote progress and prosperity for all citizens.
By midday, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in company with the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni, arrived at Nkumba University in Entebbe to pass out the 750 student leaders as patriotism corps, who have been undergoing a rigorous 14-day patriotism training. Upon his arrival, the Commander-in-Chief inspected the Guard of Honor amidst sensational goosebumps awakening melodies performed by the Uganda People's Defense Air Force Band. The President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, advised the Patriotism Corps to reject the politics of sectarianism and instead adopt love for Uganda if they are to prosper.
And that's why we say, you people love Uganda. Why do we tell you love Uganda? Because you need it for your prosperity. We don't have to preach to you to tell you this and that and that. If you want to be all right, you should love Uganda. Why? Because you need it for your own good, for your own prosperity. And that's why we say principle number one is patriotism. Love Uganda. Why? Because you need it for your own prosperity. Now, when somebody comes and says, we Banyankwere, I say, stand in Vako.
In the same vein, he cautioned them against involving themselves in politics of identity, which he claims to be hindering the citizen's socio-economic transformation, and instead adopt politics of mutual interest.
Why the politics of identity? And when somebody brings politics of identity, we as Muslims, we as Christians, we as Catholics, we as Protestants, we as Banyankwere, we as Abaganda, that is fake medicine. Those are quack doctors. Abasawo, Abobulimba. They are quack doctors. Because my sickness is poverty. I want somebody to treat my poverty. And when you tell me religion, tribes, it will not solve my problem. It will not cure my problem.
The First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni, charged the corps with the responsibility of manifesting love and peace in their respective communities by living as ambassadors of peace themselves.
That one has got only one homeland on planet Earth. You do not take a choice to belong to your homeland. You are given that by God Himself. If you mess it up, you have no other. Please remember that always. Even if you choose to go to another place to search for employment like many of our children do, ultimately, you must come back to the only country you call home. My prayer, therefore, is that you will become ambassadors of peace, of unity and love for our nation, because agents of change spread the message of patriotism. Beware of those forces and enemies of progress who desire to harness your youthful energy to propagate evil, especially in the campaign season we are getting into. Be mindful of the evil agendas that promote divisiveness and tribalism.
The Commission of the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, from the Office of the President Helen Seku, appealed to the President, who is also their chief patron, to grant a special consideration for the unemployed Patriotism Corps across the country through different government programs like PDM, as a form of continuous support to this initiative.
Our chief patron, Jaja, to also bring to your attention is the fact that we have got so many alumni of patriotism who are unemployed but with skills and well-trained. Hence, we request for every necessary support to keep them together as a follow-up method. We request for special consideration under the different government programs like PDM, Emyoga, and all the government programs to cater for these energetic youth back in their districts.
Of the 750 Patriotism Corps commissioned, 225 are female, 425 are male, 3 persons with disabilities, and all were selected from 83 tertiary institutions across the country. The program they have undergone intends to inculcate the values of patriotism, ideologically sharpen the minds of the participants, among others. Joseph Kabale, UCTV News.
The AMDA annual Teens and Children's Camp has come to a close after 4 days of impactful training and empowerment at Don Bosco Nursery and Primary School in Malawa, Kira Municipality. The camp concluded with Mass led by Father Henry Semakula, who served as the main celebrant. Now, during the sermon, Father Semakula urged parents to incorporate catechism in their daily family routines and emphasize the importance of dedicating quality time to their children.
After a 4-day powerful teens and children's camp at Don Bosco Nursery and Primary School in Mulawa, Chira Municipality, by the Archdiocese of Mbara Development Association AMDA, the camp was concluded with a powerful mass. The main celebrant was Father Henry Semakura, the director of this school.
My dear brothers and sisters, we have spent here 3 days, 4 days reflecting about hope. Now I want to tell something to the parents of this campus. You know that we are in the year of, this is the Jubilee, where we are pilgrims of hope. And we know what hope is, isn't it? That's strong belief that tomorrow will be better. And the situation, it may be difficult today, but it's not permanent. That which keeps you going, despite the situation you find yourself in. And when that hope is not there, we begin to. And for us Christians, that hope is Christ, is Jesus. Our theme was anchored in hope, pilgrims with our families, and but also when we talk to them and through the speech that they gave us, they showed us that sometimes you parents are their hope, and also you can be the source of their loss of hope. You can be the source of their loss of hope if you are not present, if you are not available, if you don't listen to them, if you don't provide for them. And sometimes we don't take time even to know them. So what do? What they would get from you, they go search for it somewhere. And then they end up with drugs, addictions, and all sorts of things. Because the parents are not available. Because they have abandoned them to the phones. When we ask them, what are some of the situations that can make you lose hope? When someone will say something that touches you, say, Father, misunderstandings between our parents, divorce. Where does it leave the children? And which example you are giving to them for tomorrow? So the situation of the family.
He encouraged parents to practice catechism in their homes and always spare good quality time for their families as some of the ways of creating strong bonds between parents and children.
Dear parents, please insist on the catechism. You have 3, 4 children in the house. You cannot teach them. Then you send them to school where they have 500 or 1,000 and you expect them to come back when they are home. But you have had them for the past 2 months. You don't have time. You wake up in the morning, you come back when they are sleeping. And when tomorrow you discover that they are in drugs, then you run. Oh, the child is spoiled. What can I do? Where were you when the child was getting spoiled? Are you together? So give them time. Have a family day out with them. Watch their behavior. Like in such a situation, Brother Bosco said, if you want to know a real character of a child, take him to the program and stand outside and watch. When someone will come and kick him, you will see someone who is calm, Because yes, it's easy to pretend in church, they are very holy and what. But then, they cannot let someone come and fix it.
Father Semakula asked trainees to keep away from comparison and also avoid doing things out of peer pressure.
I want to be like everyone else at school. You want to boast around. You want to be like, no, your situation. All of us are different. And be grateful for what God has given. Don't fight to, because my friend has an iPhone, I have to have one. An iPhone is not a need, it's a want. You can do without it. After I don't need the phone, who do you call? That you are there, put on your phone all the time, that you misuse. So, peer pressure. Because at the moment you have a child, your life is finished. These men, they are becoming very smart. They say, how many children do you have? One or two tomorrow. It is done. So don't spoil your future. You are going to miss on the good things that you can receive here in the church and then the sacrament of man. So stay safe.
He also encouraged everyone not to lose hope because Jesus will always give them a hand.
The same Jesus who changed into water into wine is going to change your situation. Is going to change what you are going through. It's going to open the door for you. It's going to bring joy, peace in your families. Let us continue to pray. Let us not give up on prayer.
M. Frank, UCTV News.
Barnabas Tinkasimire, the Member of Parliament for Buyaga West constituency, has issued a warning to the youth against the dangers of drug abuse, describing it as troubling new global trend that has enshrined many young people. Tinkasimire made the remarks while officiating at the closing of the youth conference that's in Kakadi district, which saw over 1,800 young attendees. He emphasized the importance of staying away from drugs to ensure a brighter future.
They may think this is a new world order of taking anything they want, but it is anti-human. It destroys their lives. It destroys their reputation. And I would invite them to drop those permissive activities and become good citizens, because it will spoil their, it can kill them. They need to be closer to God. They need to stay in school and make sure that they complete their education. When they complete their education, they will be able to compete at the community level, district level, and national level. Of course, we have a responsibility as leaders to make sure that we provide that conducive environment where the younger people are going to go through, other than destroying them. We need to make laws that promote their welfare.
Many youth want free things. They don't want to work. If you go to these families, most of the families you'll find about 10, 12 people, but you'll find 2 people working for the whole family. These youth have time to go to the discos, in bars, but they have no time to work. Secondly, they have no time for church. Why? When it is time for church, they go in bars. Sadly, these children have no direction. A church that has no value, because they are not seeing value in the church, even to us leaders. So I call upon the church leaders, I call upon the political leaders, wherever you are, let's go back to our roots. Let's call these youth on board. Let's teach them our values, family values, church values.
Do not be influenced by pressure or peer groups because someone is dressing smartly, someone is having nice shoes. The future is tomorrow, not now. Focus on education, respect your elders, and be time management.
I'm emphasizing or encouraging those one who are in the cells, those one who are in those wrongdoers which have been mentioned, they should stop and give their lives to Jesus.
As the 2025 academic year begins, the Department for the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons in the Ministry of Internal Affairs has urged parents and guardians to remain alert to the growing trend of child trafficking, which often spikes during the back-to-school season. Addressing journalists today, Deputy National Coordinator Derek Basalira recounted the recent rescue of 22 juveniles who were being trafficked to neighboring Kenya under the pretense of free scholarships. He emphasized the need for heightened public awareness and vigilance to prevent similar incidents, warning families to scrutinize offers of scholarships or travel opportunities for their children.
The previous week, we had some very successful operations in the field of countering human trafficking. A total of 22 children were rescued by an interception conducted by our police in Busia district. That was on the 14th of January, 2025. And these children are between the ages of 4 and 17. Now, these children were intercepted while in the hands of 4 perpetrators or traffickers, 2 of whom were Ugandans, and 2 Kenyans. The Kenyans who are waiting to take our children across the border. I've always told you that trafficking of human beings is not limited to a certain age group. Even the traffickers can be of any age. Now you can imagine a 74-year-old lady, a Kenyan, who is also a director at one of the schools where the children, our Ugandan children, were supposedly meant to go for free education. A director at Imatsuli Sunrise Academy in Kenya, found in Emasuli, Buyinga County in Kenya. Now, she worked with someone also, a gentleman called Omulama Stephen, a 29-year-old, a Muluya also by tribe. Even the lady is a Luya, and the teacher also at the same school, Emasuli Sunrise Academy, and a resident of Emuhaya Sub-County, Vihiga County in Kenya. Now, you can see how organized these criminals are, because they organize in Uganda and the same way it is organized back in Kenya. Our children, the 22, were supposedly meant to go and have free education in this particular school. However, when you look at all the facts in this situation, or in this case, there is no free education whatsoever, and the modalities that were undertaken to have these children cross the border were also illegal.
UCTV, good news for all.
Radio Purchase, the best value-based community radio in Eastern Africa, running 24/7 with professional staff and solar energy backup of up to 500 kilowatts peak. We rock the whole of northern Uganda and the world using 7 languages on 90.9 FM and 94.5 FM in Arua on Ediofe Hill, 99.7 FM at Moyo on Adua Hill, 101.4 FM at Fogod in Gulu, and online at www.radiopurchase.org or download the Radio Purchase app from Google Play Store and Apple Store. Radio Purchase, peace of Christ for all.
Well, it's now time for Today in History. And that marks the end of our bulletin this evening. It has been nice having you. My name is Nora Sende. Until tomorrow, do take care of yourself and have a good night.